in 18 years since 2005 that we have had a ship permanently at our dock to support our cadets, to support our training mission. So it's very excited. She arrived a couple of weeks ago from Mass Maritime, and it's part of the transition to the new national security multi-mission vessels that are being built. The first one should be delivered to a New York Maritime sometime early this summer. Second one will go to Massachusetts. That's why their ship was transferred to us now. We have sailed on the Kennedy the last few years. She's a beautiful ship. Old technology, yep, get it, but she's big. She certainly meets our needs. And it's exciting to have a ship under our operational control now all year long. And so, our cadets in the last couple of weeks since we got her, they've been busy working on her, moving stores on board, and, just help to familiarize themselves with the ship. In the past, freshmen would move onto the ship the day or so after it arrived, just a few days before we left for the summer sea term. So they were still getting lost and bumping around, and so it's great. We'll have a little more time to get familiar before we're really getting underway. So anyway, it's a lot of great stuff is happening. We've got a great summer planned. The team's been working on it pretty much since early last fall. And we're here tonight to share some of the insights. Many of you submitted questions ahead of time. We'll get to those in the process here. And mostly a lot of the things we have are really, and we've had meetings with all of your sons and daughters to help them know and prepare and sending the information to them. But it also helps when mom and dad know, when families have more insights into what's going on, what their requirements are and expectations are. I don't expect you to pack their sea bag, and in fact, please do not pack their sea bag, because when they show up without something, we hold them accountable, and I don't want to hear them say, well, my mom forgot. And yes, we have actually heard that before. So that's not a good way to prepare professionals for the industry. So, you hold them accountable, and we'll hold them accountable, and we're all kind of in this together. So it's an exciting time. There are always changes. It's true in the industry. It's true in here. It's true in the training part of it too, as we always have to adapt as we're going along, and you'll hear about some of those tonight. But we've got a series of briefings here from different individuals from the key team that's running the whole sea term. We've got the academic departments represented here, ship crew, student affairs, Maritime Academy, and we also have finance here with Crystal Lewis and Henry Dominguez, because there's always a lot of questions about some of the nuances of the billing and the scholarships and things like that. And so, we want, we met actually a kind of a financial brief this afternoon for the cadets that were able to attend in person. And you'll have that same brief from the chief financial officer of the campus. Ms. Susan Hernandez Lee will be giving you an update too on all of that. And there's the cost of the sea term, et cetera. So let's get this underway, and I'll turn it over to Captain Post, the deputy superintendent, to really talk about the overall schedule and key dates. Take it away, Alan.
Howdy, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. We do have a change in schedule due to high volumes of cargo actually on the East Coast. The berth that we were planning to go to in Savannah, we've been preempted by a much more expensive cargo, and as a result, we are unable to dock in Savannah. After looking at multiple other options, we have chosen Tampa, Florida as the alternative. At this time, we're looking at docking at the cruise ship terminal in downtown Tampa on the same date, so June 30th to July 3rd in Tampa, Florida. Cadet check-in will be on May 30th. We'll be departing Galveston at 1300 on June 7th. and arriving in Curacao, Williamstown, Curacao on June 17th and departing on the 20th. Again, Tampa, Florida on June 30th through July 3rd. July 13th, San Juan, Puerto Rico. There is, I'll give you a little teaser. There is a very good chance that we will be meeting the Empire State 7 NSMV #1 in San Juan on the 16th when we depart. So we're working on that right now with SUNY Maritime. And then we'll arrive in New Orleans on July 26th, depart New Orleans on July 29th. We will return to Galveston on August 5th, and a summer sea term ends on August 8th. And our new freshman fish class arrives the next day to board the TS Kennedy for a week. Let me scroll down here. Yeah,
that's cool. I'm excited about that.
Next up is going to be Susan Lee. She's going to go over the costs of summer sea term, and followed on by student business services and financial aid.
Okay, can you hear me?
We hear you.
All right, I'm going to share my screen real quick. Good evening. Can everyone see that screen?
We see it now.
Okay, I'm going to go to the slideshow here and start from the beginning. All right. Good evening. I'm going to give you a briefing on how much it cost for this year's summer sea term. So if you'll bear with me, this is the first slide I want you to look at. And notice that the left-hand column, this one right here, shows the current year's summer sea term, and this one is last year's. And I'm going to kind of explain for you how we use these funds too. I think that's important. So if you look at the first section, that's the tuition that we charge to every student for a class that they may take, and it's per semester credit hour. And for summer sea term, this is a 4-semester credit hour course, and that would be charged to your student if they were taking any classes here on this campus at any time during the year. These fees go to support all the classes that are taught, all the operating budgets, IT, student services such as enrollment, and some of our fixed costs of doing business such as paying utilities and insurance. The next section are what we call mandatory fees. That includes the university advancement fee, which is based on semester credit hour. And then there's some flat fees, which are student health fee, rec sports fee, and the student center complex fee. These are also used to help support operations during the year, such as library, vessel operations, advising. In particular, these three here, student health, rec sports, and student complex, all of this money goes to help support the summer sea term. We need to have medical doctors on board. We have to have medicine on board. We have recreational opportunities for the students, and all that money goes to help support that when the students are in port. The next section are fees that are related specifically to the license option summer sea term. The first line is the meal price, which is $52 a day, 71 days, or $3,692. And the next one is a summer training assessment. These are specific to the LOs, and these fees are used to support overall operation of the sea term, which is also supplemented by MARAD direct support and university support. And I'll explain a little bit more about that in just a minute. You can see the difference here is really related to this meal price. The plan has gone up from $50 last year to $52 per day, and that difference is $142. Nothing else has changed. All other tuition fees are frozen, so that the total, including the drug testing fee here, is $12,430.98 for undergraduate resident tuition. If you are non-resident, if you are not a resident of the state of Texas, while your state tuition is waived, local tuition is not. So we're charged another $300 per semester credit hour. So that total is $13,630. I'm going to go to the next slide.
Hey, Susan,
Yes.
can you hear me?
Back up. How do I back up? Let's see. Do I need to back up?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, hold on. I'm going forward. Why is that? Okay, let's try it again.
There was.
There we go.
Okay, and there one bit of confusion that has happened in the past, and just want to tell the parents. We forgot to mention this to the students today. That the Chartwell's fee, that's a flat rate fee for meals, and they put this together, and we actually don't have a choice. Chartwell's is the food service contractor for the campus, and that includes the ship, and they charge us a flat rate fee. We do not, independently buy the food, and at the end of the summer they always have some food left over. Well, all that food is Chartwell's food, and so there's a little bit of frustration at the end of the summer when we're unloading leftover food from the ship. It's like, where's the refund? We pay a flat rate fee. Chartwell's takes that food back, particularly if it's freezer food and stuff. It probably goes back into the supplies for campus here.
And Mike, I forgot to mention as well, thank you for saying that. We are actually paying Chartwell's this year more than we're charging the students. We are paying $60.33 per day, because you probably are aware grocery store prices have really just gone way up. But we're actually supporting the student by lowering the amount they're actually paying. So I just want to make sure y'all knew that too. So the next slide comes directly off of the SUNY Maritime College website, and they do not have the most recent numbers on their website, but they have the 2022 summer sea term. And I just wanted you to see that we're really very comparable and actually cheaper than SUNY. Their 75-day cruise, it's 4 days more, is $13,517, while we're $12,431, which was exactly what you saw on the previous page. We're about $1,000 cheaper. And then they have an in-region and out-of-region cost as well. We only have out of state that extra $300 that I showed you on the previous slide, which is $13,631. So we range anywhere from $771 to $2,300 cheaper. And then they also have a repatriation fee if that's necessary. We don't have that. So I just want to make sure everybody understood that. And that is it for mine. I'd like to go ahead and advance to the briefing for Crystal Lewis, Rebecca. And I'm advancing their slides for them.
Howdy, everyone. My name is Crystal Lewis. I'm Assistant Director of Student Business Services, and I'm just going to speak to you about payment options and due dates for summer cruise. So first things first, bills will be available May 17th. So on May 17th, you'll be able to log into the Howdy portal and view the student's bill. At that time, you'll either have the option to set up an installment plan, which will give you 2 installment dates, which will be June 12th and July 12th, or you can pay in full, and that pay in full date is June 12th. There is a $50 non-refundable one-time fee for setting up that installment plan, and that's all due at the time the installment plan is set. So authorized users, if you are not already an authorized user on the account, we spoke to the students today about adding you as an authorized user. It is actually federal law that we cannot give you information regarding your student's account, and that is amounts or any information on the student account without the student's authorization. So we asked the students to go ahead and add an authorized user. They can add more than one. They would do that also through their Howdy portal. Go to the next slide, Susan. Just to give you an idea, so in the Howdy portal, you would go to the Actions tab, and under the Actions tab, there is Manage Authorized Users. There's where the student will add in your email address and name, and this will send an email to you. And what you would have to do is verify yourself as an authorized user. So next slide, Susan, I'm sorry. So once the student adds you as an authorized user, you'll get this email, and within that email, you'll click on the Verify Email Now button, and then you'll become an authorized user. So at that point, we will be able to discuss anything regarding your student's account in the event that you are the person managing the student bill or making any payments when the student is out at sea. So if you have any questions regarding how to make a payment or what types of payment to make, or any questions regarding anything that I've stated today, you can send an email to tuitioninfo@tamug.edu. That comes directly to the Galveston campus. You can also text us. That's more of an option that the students like to use. That does go through to College Station. So if you want to reach us directly here, that tuitioninfo@tamug.edu is the best email option for you. And then I just wanted to mention, if you are using any of the specialized billing options like Texas Guarantee Plan, Texas Promise Fund, anything like that, please make sure that you are submitting that information ahead of time. That's going to be emailed at ssb@tamu.edu. That goes to College Station, and that's where the processing of those funds are done. If you have any questions, again, please email us here and we'll guide you through that process. And that's all I have for the payments and student business services.
All right, thank you, Crystal. All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Henry Dominguez. I'm the Assistant Director of Scholarships and Financial Aid. I'm going to be sharing some information today in regards to how can we cover the cost. Ms. Susan Lee went over the information on how much it's going to cost, for residents and non-residents. Crystal went over the ways, and options as far as payment plans, and tuition and waivers. I really want to give everyone information as far as what is available for the summer C term. So when the student applied in fall to apply for admissions for the university, they completed a scholarship application. In that scholarship application, they were put in a pool of scholarships for the fall, the spring, and also the summer. So that's one available option. As well as the federal Pell Grant through the FAFSA. If the student is eligible for any federal aid, they would be able to see that in their financial aid portal. There is federal student loans available, subsidized and unsubsidized for undergraduate students. For graduate students, there would be unsubsidized only. One important note that I listed here on this PowerPoint is that for undergraduate students, you want to be registered for 6 hours, and for grad students, 3 hours. Parent Plus loans. A lot of our parents are using the federal Parent Plus loan to fund the student's education during the fall and spring. If you're interested in applying for the Parent Plus loan for the summer, you can go ahead and do that starting on May 7th, just around the corner. You just got to go back to studentaid.gov. The application would open up and it'll let you apply for the summer. So alternative loans are also available. You can get more information on the student's financial aid portal, but besides the Parent Plus loan through studentaid.gov, we do have alternative loans with the university that the student or the parent can apply for to be available to cover the summer C term. And then, of course, outside scholarships. Outside scholarships can be reported on the student's financial aid portal under the status page. So if they're getting a scholarship from a business, a church, an organization, an institution, you highly recommend that you go onto the financial aid portal under the status and report that scholarship. Next slide, please. So for veteran educational benefits, for military education benefits, we want to definitely encourage students to go ahead and register. Once you've registered for the summer C term, you will see a renewal come up in your financial aid portal under the status page. This is going to be your opportunity to complete the questionnaire for the summer. And accordingly, if you have Hazelwood, or if you're in a Veterans Affairs benefit, or post 9/11 GI Bill, you can go ahead and do that onto your portal. Now, I do want to mention that once you complete this questionnaire and you renew your certification with the university for military education benefits to cover the cruise, you want to go back to the status page and see if any documents are due. That's one of the steps the students miss on what's required probably right after they submit that questionnaire. So please don't forget to go back on the status page. Next slide, please. So one important thing that we definitely want to cover is annual federal loan limits for the summer. So if a student has received the federal student loans for the fall and the spring, and they've accepted the maximum amount that the federal government would allow for the annual loan eligibility, for incoming freshmen, it would be $5,500. If they've accepted those loans in the fall and spring, they wouldn't be offered any in the summer because they've reached that limit. So what are the options to be able to cover the students, costs for the summer term? So the Parent Plus loan is available, as we mentioned earlier. The Graduate Plus loan is available for grad students, and then also the alternative loans. It's our responsibility in financial aid and scholarships to be able to guide parents and students on where to apply, what information to get. So please contact us for us to help you with that process if you have any questions. As well as the enrollment requirements, not only for financial aid, but for veterans. You want to make sure that you're enrolled at least, like I mentioned, 6 hours or 3 hours, so you can be considered full-time for financial aid, so you can get the maximum eligibility to help you cover the cost of your C term, and then also with financial aid eligibility with loans. You want to make sure that you're meeting the requirements to be able to be eligible for a loan, either a Parent Plus loan or an alternative loan. Next slide, please. So you do have to earn financial aid during the summer C term. And here are some requirements as far as meeting GPA, completion rate, and excessive hours. We would notify the student if they're in danger of not meeting satisfactory academic progress. Where would the student find that information? It would be in the status page in their financial aid portal. So if they do not meet SAP in the spring or they've been in an academic plan, highly recommend that the student looks at their status page for any next steps that they need to in order to complete documentation with their academic counselor for the summer. Next slide, please. All right, so I really just wanted to start just giving some, illustration on where to go. A lot of the questions that we receive in financial aid are, how can we assist, where do I go and get my information? Where can I see my awarding for financial aid? So some of the things that I wanted to highlight here, there's one way to get into the financial aid portal. So when the student logs into the Howdy portal, this is what they're going to view. You want to look for the icon with the graduation cap on the top right. It's circled in red. And that's where you want to go to the financial aid portal. Next slide. Once you're in the financial aid portal, this is what the student is going to view. So I'm just going to go really quickly through the left side of this, if you could see it. As I mentioned, the status page is listed there, the academic year. And under the status page in academic year, you're going to be seeing check marks and items that need to be completed. This is where scholarships and financial aid communicates with parents and students on any outstanding items. For example, if a FAFSA wasn't completed and not received by the university, it wouldn't show a check mark, and that would be showing that it's missing. Any documents that need to be uploaded by the Veteran Affairs or Hazelwood would be uploaded through here as well. Under the awards tab, that's where you could see the awards that are being offered to the student. You would also see the Parent Plus loan and alternative loan that you would apply for as well. Military education benefits for that certification renewal will be under the status page, like I mentioned as well. Next slide. We can go to the next slide. Okay, so talking about alternative loans, where can you find that link? If you go to helpful links, you will be able to see if a student is meeting SAP. and also giving you information on alternative loans. If you don't want to apply for the Parent Plus loan through studentaid.gov, you can always apply with one of our lenders that the university has partnered up with. Next slide. Okay, so what's next? I kind of wanted to leave some things to look forward to for fall. And that is that when the bill is due, we'll be able to disperse those funds 10 days before. That's something that's really important as far as paying for the bill. For your FAFSA for the upcoming fall, make sure that you have the FAFSA for 23-24 completed already. It's on studentaid.gov. And then also review your portal incomplete requirements on both academic years. That way you have a smooth transition into fall. Next slide. Last thing that I just want to mention is our contact information. I know that a lot of parents are going to have questions, or students. We're located on the first floor of the main building on campus. On the left side, we have a sunflower with financial aid right there on our door, so you can't miss us right when you walk in. There's several ways that you can get assistance. We make it so convenient for you guys to get your questions answered. There's a QR code here that you can use to get in line. We'll call you and answer any questions that you have. We have email inbox dedicated to our students and our veterans where we can answer any questions regarding scholarships, veteran benefits, and financial aid. So please utilize those resources so we can assist with any questions for summer or fall or spring. Thank you so much.
Okay, I think we're going to end share there. And I'm going to pull an audible here because some of what, and thank you, Crystal and Henry and Susan. Some of what they talked about, especially with this financial aid, and they talked about how many credit hours students need to be taken. The C term is just a 4 credit hour class. And for the first time in at least 18 years, we are going to have another option for students to take a class to get them another 3 hours from the Maritime Administration. And Cassia, I didn't give you a warning about this, but I think you're in here. Can you unmute and give everybody a real quick intro to what you're up to this summer?
Absolutely. Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Colonel Possum. And it's a pleasure for me to be the one putting this concept to test and offering the first Maritime Business Administration class on board of the training ship. I'm going to be the instructor designing this course from scratch. It's not a shelf product that we're just offering to the students. It's the entire course that I'm designing for the Maritime Academy students, giving them insights and information and knowledge that is pertaining to the business side of our industry. I know, and I was well informed by my colleagues that are doing this for a long time, that the students tend to be very busy on board of this cruise, of course, experiencing different things. They don't want to be. I'm going to be locking them in a room and giving thousands of pages to read. I am a scholar. I am a researcher, of course. There will be some of that in my course, but of course, we're going to be giving them an opportunity to know how business models essentially work. They're getting their training for becoming officers, right? But at the end of the day, they are working for or with businesses, companies, organizations, and this is what we're going to give them an insight about. So it's a maritime business trends and challenges topics type of class. I can give you, any of you, the students, the parents, anyone in this call, a full detail on the syllabus and how the coursework is actually going to work in an info session. I gave 2 last week, and I'm planning to give a few more during the month of May as we feel the need for, but please feel free to contact me. You can find I don't know if I can put my contact information on this page here, but I'm sure you can contact one of our academy planners here in this call, and they will reach out to me, and I can answer all their specific questions you may have.
Okay.
And Mike, if I could add just a note to that, My slide referenced 4 semester credit hours. So be sure that you understand that if you're taking an additional 3 semester credit hours to be eligible for financial aid, and because of interest in the course, you would be charged additional tuition and fees. So, and that calculator is available on the website, I believe, effective immediately, Crystal, or is it a day or 2?
It's a day or 2.
Okay.
The rates are pretty much the same, but if you have any questions, feel free to reach out and I'll be able to provide those numbers for you.
Thank you,
And
Mike.
just
I just
before-
wanted to add that.
You
And-
bet.
Just before I forget, this course also counts for a MERA minor. Some of you may be familiar with that. Some students know what that is, and and that's a plus. And if you're a licensed option in our graduate program, that also counts as credit towards that. Thank you.
And for the MART department or the DEC LOs, this course is only available to the 200 level automatically. For 400 level, you'll have to apply, and it will come across my desk for approval to take the course there. But any 200 level student is approved to take the course, and it will be used or approved as a directed elective.
Ryan, will you take a moment and introduce yourself since you're on screen?
And introduce everybody.
Yes, my name is Ryan Beacon, or I'm Captain Ryan Beacon. I'm the interim department head of the Marine Transportation Department. And this little one here is my 10-month-old daughter, Safina. She's actually named after a navigational star. So those students that have taken celestial navigation have a nautical almanac with 64 navigational stars in there. And this little one's named after one of those.
Thank you. Back to you, Colonel.
Okay, very good. I'm completely distracted. I hadn't met her yet. I want to welcome. We forgot to mention early on that we've got Maine families. We have a number of Maine cadets from Maine Maritime that will be joining us this summer. And I believe we have some of the families from Maine that have joined in for the first time. So welcome to Texas. And we may have this summer, there's varying numbers that are fluctuating. We'll have some California Maritime, and then onesies, twosies from some of the other schools too. All of us together are still working through the delays and upsets coming from the COVID, the lost summer of 2020. And so Texas, we had other schools helping us for many years accomplish our training mission. So we're of course glad to help out any academy, any cadets or midshipmen that need to get aboard. And so our goal is to make them honorary Aggies for the summer. They may not want that, but that's the way we roll. And so we will have them actually for Maine, especially because we got the word early enough with them. We had Maine cadets that competed for leadership positions for the summer sea term, and we will have at least 2 of our senior leaders this summer will be Maine cadets. So we're excited about that. We're glad to integrate you right into what we're doing. I think now we'll turn it over to talk about our sea term manuals, and I'm not sure if Captain Post or Dr. Sutherland.
I'm going to let Dr. Sutherland take this.
Good call.
Actually, and I'm gonna hate to pass the buck, but I'm gonna hand it to Commander Gomper.
Okay. Commandant.
I'm here. Okay. I wouldn't expect you to get that ball, but the sea term manual is posted. I encourage everybody to read through it thoroughly. We're going to when you read through that, you're going to have all the instructions on what you need to bring, when to report, and how business is going to be conducted aboard the ship. So if you have any questions after you've read through that manual thoroughly, please get in touch with my office, and we'll be happy to answer any of your questions about the sea term manual. So, but it is published, and if you are having trouble finding it through our website, let us know and we'll guide you to it.
Dr. Sutherland, would you touch on the alcohol policy, et cetera?
Sure. So we will be obviously this is a training cruise. We seek professionalism in all of our mariners. So sometimes we go to different ports where there are different type of alcohol policies, but that doesn't impact what we're here for, and that's to train. When cadets are allowed to go out to port, they can go out and have a drink or two, but would never welcome anybody coming back to the ship and impaired. So there will be alcohol testing that occurs when necessary as folks come back to the ship, because our focus here always is safety. We can't have people wandering through the ship that may be impaired. So, that's essentially our policy. Is there will be people whenever anybody returns, you'll have one of the commandant staff down on the manning the gangway, watching things and just making sure that everybody's having a safe experience.
And although the drinking age is 21 here in Galveston, it is 18 in Curacao and Puerto Rico. So we will talk to them before we get off in port and about the cautioning things. But this is going to other ports around the world as part of the industry. And it's just part of the growth experience and stuff. So we of course want everybody to be responsible and to avoid problems. And we have had some problems in the past. And so we've refined policies. We've got a curfew, and we will hold them to these curfews and the policies. So we ask for your help. Encourage them to be responsible, be smart, take care of each other.
And the cadets will be briefed in excruciating detail on this the week before we sail. So read through that cruise manual now, so that you have questions for those briefings. Make sure you're absolutely crystal clear on what the policies are.
How people are operating in the ports is part of this training. This is not a cruise. You can do the cruise after you get done with the summer sea term training. This is a training mission.
Yeah.
All right, academic syllabi, they'll be uploaded to Canvas, dates previously announced by the respective departments. Jim, do you want to go over the uniform and sea bag requirements real quick, please, Commandant?
The details again are in the sea term manual. However, for the most part, our sea term uniform is what you see Captain Post, myself wearing, the polo shirts and khaki pants or shorts. The preferred brand is the khaki Dickies. If you absolutely must go off of that brand, we need to have a flat fronted khaki shirt, not khaki short or pants without cargo pockets, and they need to be a military khaki color. So if they're significantly different than the khakis that they already have, then we need to revisit that. So no dark browns or light tans that are almost white. So that's the day-to-day uniform. Of course, an approved fire resistant boiler suit or 4 if you're an engineer is required. Cadets are required also to arrive with a maroon hard hat and appropriate steel-toed shoes for those times when they're working with heavy machinery. So those are the uniform requirements. We do not have a requirement for a khaki uniform or anything like that. And lastly, for entering, leaving port, and for special occasions, we will require cadets to have a salt and pepper uniform. That is the white short sleeve shirt, shoulder boards, black front uniform pants, black shoes, and the issued black for California cadets. It's a Port Authority jacket. For most other cadets, they have the Eisenhower style relaxed fit jacket, the black jacket. So either one of those is authorized to wear. Other than that, appropriate civilian attire to go ashore, but not a whole lot of it, because you don't have a whole lot of storage space and you don't have a whole lot of ability to care for a lot of extra uniforms. And don't forget your swim trunks.
Jim, did you mention the combination cover too?
Combination cover is part of that salt and pepper uniform. Yes, sir. I omitted that. But
you bet. And for the cadets from other academies, whatever your standard kind of daily uniform is fine. And every cadet will get two polos, and they're color coded based on years of experience at sea, and you should, if we get it early enough, we'll have your school logo on your shirt. And of course, the logo for the Texas cadets will have ours, etc. So that's part of the full meal deal here. Okay.
The main maritime polos we got in time, so they're gonna have the right crest on it. I know somebody who happened to have that on file real quick.
So we would be remiss in not mentioning now that Commander Gomper is a graduate of Maine Maritime Academy, and is very excited to have his alma mater on board.
You bet.
This is also, sir, the Commandant's first full sea term where there's a little bit of advance notice. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Jim Gomper. I'm a 1989 graduate, Maine Maritime Academy deck. I'm a licensed mate, and I'm also a 20-year retiree of the United States Navy. I was a surface warfare officer. So I'm used to driving ships, but the ones I've had most of my time on were big and gray. I'm looking forward to driving Kennedy a little bit this summer, and then working with the cadets from all the schools. It's going to be a great time.
While we're introducing people, how about our Corps commander for the sea term and next school year here, Gunnar Pearson? Why don't you say howdy?
Howdy, everybody. My name is Gunnar Pearson. I'm a marine engineering major. I'll graduate next May of 2024, hopefully. I'm super excited for this summer sea term. I'm really glad to have everybody on board from all the other schools. My biggest thing is I think it's going to be very representative of how it'll actually be while we're in the industry. While we're on summer sea term, typically we've only really had cadets from our own school. So the opportunity to work with cadets from other schools and grow those relationships, I think, is going to be very paramount to our success this summer. Other than that, I think we've got a great set of ports that we're going to go to, and I think we're going to have a great time. Thank you, sir.
Great, thanks, Gunnar. Okay, we better keep moving along the agenda here. I think we're ready for Captain Howell.
Captain Howell, please introduce yourself. This is your first time meeting the parents.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Howdy. My name is Captain Wade Howell. I am a 2002 graduate from Texas, from the Maritime Academy here at A&M. My earlier part of my career, I was sailed regular union ships through MEBA. Later on, I followed on to master mates and pilots and sailed for the Military Sea Lift Command for about 10 plus years as chief mate, follow on master with them. I came back to the academy about 2 years ago in the marine transportation faculty, which I'm also the bridge resource management instructor for the academy, as well as taking on the duties for the summer sea term for the captain of the training ship, and looking forward to the opportunity to sail. It's been a long time. I made the last cruise last year as the chief mate on board, and prior to that, I sailed as a faculty member and made several other trips along my career on the ships as faculty. So looking forward to this summer and having a good summer. One of the other things they asked me to talk about a little bit to lead that in is Liberty and how that works. So all the cadets on board will be offered a chance for 2 days out of the normal 3 days in port to have Liberty. One day we keep them on board to maintain the watch and safety and security of the vessel, and the ability for firefighting, initial response, and just keep the ship safe. The Kennedy is a well-founded vessel, but she's a little older. Tends to sometimes have some pipes that like to leak a little bit, other stuff, so we want to try to catch that. So we always have a duty section on board. So that duty section on their watch day, they're basically restricted to the ship for 24 hours. But for those that can go ashore, typically they're released from the ship about 8:39 a.m. in the morning. We have a Liberty formation at about 8 o'clock in the morning, and once the ship is clean and ready for presentation to any visitors or anyone else, I'll grant Liberty for the day. It ends with the Mart and Mare students, the 200 level first cruise. They have to be on board by 2300. Follow on any juniors, so Mart and Mare 300 have to be on board by 2330. And 30 minutes later, all the remainder 400 level have to be on board by midnight. This applies to basically everyone sailing. There's no difference based on age or like academy group. If you are in the as a cadet on board, you're restricted to these times, with the exception of Special Liberty, which will be considered. If you see the sea term manual, it can be put out there, but it's granted only in special circumstances. There is emergency leave also offered. If you have to, if there's some reason, if we're in port, a major issue in the that has to be taken care of, it's all on a case-by-case basis, and that's filled out by a form to the commandants. And once the commandants get it, it has to take the approval of myself, the commandant, and the academic department head for the department that they're in, all approving. Everyone has to basically sleep on board the ship every night to get counted as sea time that they need to sail. So that's the main reason there's no overnight liberty approved without the exception, special circumstances. And that's pretty much the overall requirements. It's all spelled out in the sea term manual, which is the first place to go to and look. So otherwise, been looking forward to having a great summer with the students and follow on from that.
And I think the parents probably caught that's curfews 11:30 or 11 o'clock, 11:30 and midnight, depending on your experience level.
Thank you, Captain Howell. Over to Miss Sarah Bowman, who is our licensing program manager for required documents to sail. And I must reiterate, we have had people show up, cadets show up every year without the document, a document, with an expired passport, without a passport. We are going to a foreign country. You will not be allowed back into the United States without it. So Sarah, please go over the required documents to sail.
Howdy, as Captain Post said, I'll be going over required documents. One of those things is the passport that he referred to. We've looked over cadets' passports, but we still know that there are some that are expired. If they are expired, they need to get a passport now. Expedited is an option. And they can get in touch with me if they need contact information for someone or a letter indicating that they will be traveling foreign. In addition to that passport is their TWIC card. TWIC is necessary to enter any of the ports and to go on liberty. Also, they will need their MMC. I understand that not all of our cadets have received their MMCs yet. There is a backup at the National Maritime Center, but thankfully as cadets, that is not absolutely required, but if they have it, they must bring it. In addition to the MMC is the medical certificate. All of our cadets should have that by now. That is the U.S. Coast Guard issued medical certificate, and that indicates that they are fit to sail. All of these items must be valid through the completion of sea term. So that last date of sea term is August 8th. Everything must be valid through that date. In addition, our cadets are required to have a Coast Guard physical and tuberculosis test valid until the start of sea term. So it must be within 1 year of the first day of sea term, May 30th. We also ask that cadets provide shot records. Most of them have already done that, and we have reviewed those for accuracy, for completeness. The big thing there is a tetanus shot within the last 10 years. And then finally, Miss Corey Bellina will be sending out a sea term health questionnaire, and we ask that cadets complete that and bring it with them to check-in. All of these documents must be brought to check-in also. We will check one last time to make sure everything's complete and that your passport is not expired.
Thank you, Sarah. Speaking of all these medical records, Dr. Gore, our ship's medical officer, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you. Sorry, I got off quickly for a little minor family emergency. I'm Dr. Gary Gore. I am in College Station at the Student Health Center. I'm an emergency physician for 19 years and have been here at the Student Health Center for 6. And I'll be sailing along with another physician, Dr. Charles Nizial, who's also an emergency physician. And we provide 24/7 coverage for the ship for any emergency that may happen. We'll have two 1-hour clinics each day, one early in the morning and then one in the evening. If the students have routine needs and they don't have an emergency, they can come by during those times. And then, of course, if they need us for an emergency throughout the day, we're available.
Awesome, thank you. And you'll be at check-in doing the medical screenings just to make sure nobody has any medical needs that need to be met while they're on board, so on and so forth. And speaking of check-in, Miss Corey Bellina, our check-in guru, and the person whose every email you must pay attention to, is going to go over our check-in on May 30th.
All right. We'll start with core leadership is going to check in on May 26th. They will have the same kind of check-in, kind of a simpler kind of a structure. May 30th, that's when our cadets will check in. We're going to start at 9 a.m. with Charlie and Foxtrot. I was notified that they are going to be on the first watch. So we are going to roll at 9 o'clock with them. So let's see. And everyone, make sure that you have registered for your course. If you show up at check-in and you are not registered, you're going to be delayed. If you have a hold, you're really going to be delayed. Just make sure you've done this all before check-in. There's not too many of you left. I will send out the rest of the check-in times shortly once I receive them. Cadets will receive that in the email. So keep checking your email. Even with school being out, you've got to check your email. I will also be sending emails with, there's about 4 forms that you need to print off and bring with you. You'll receive surveys in your emails. One is to complete an electronic emergency contact. Another is if you're going to be parking on campus. If you're going to park on campus, you must fill this out. The police department there at the campus, they need all this information if something would happen, you know, anything. During check-in, you will have CBAG check. Your credentials will be verified once again, making sure that you have all of them that you need. You'll be you're submitting the documents that you receive from me in your email, and you'll turn those in as well. Your polo shirts will be distributed at that time. You've already placed your sizing order for that. So those are actually on their way to us and should be here in just a couple days.
And one new thing we're adding this year is everybody will be getting a ship security and safety ID card, very similar to what we use on the cruise ships, to be able to check in and check out on the gangway. And as we transition to the NSMV, that's also going to be your room key card for your cadet rooms.
And I sent an email out today for that to cadets to sign up. If you did not have your photo taken in ZIOP 100 here last week or so, you need to sign up and get over to the ship to have that taken. That email will also go out to all those crew, faculty, and staff for this sign up request for your photo. Oh, one other thing I forgot. You will move directly onto the ship once checkout is complete. And I do understand that there is not housing available prior to May 30th. In a previous meeting that we had, cadets were supposed to contact me if they had any kind of, you know, out of town arrangement where they could not arrive possibly at their scheduled time. cadets can still email me directly. I've received a few of those driving in from 4 or 5 states away that will not get there till the afternoon. That's an example. So they can email me directly with any kind of request for that.
Awesome. Thank you, Corey. And I'm going to send it over to Rebecca Watts. And she's going to discuss any of our port receptions and ability to tour the vessel in port.
All right.
Howdy, y'all. I received a number of questions related to port activities. I hope that those of you who showed up last year have spread the word and will join us again this year for in Galveston for our dock party hosted on June 3rd. This year, it is from 11 to 2. It's a little bit different this year, and so I just wanted to provide some clarity. Our flotilla will not take place until June 7th, and it will be in the afternoon. I understand that's in the middle of the week for everyone. And so we really encourage you guys to do whatever you can to come and join us and participate in that. Those of you who have not before, it is quite the spectacle. It's basically a boat parade. But basically this year, we experimented last year in a couple of different ports with different activities, events, audiences, etc. And we will be hosting public parties, dock parties on board the Kennedy at 3 ports this year. In what's the new one? Allen, Tampa, in San Juan, in New Orleans. Those are this very similar execution to what we do in Galveston from 11 to 2 on board the ship, offering ship tours. And our goal with that is to really highlight the importance of maritime education and training. And we communicate with a lot of organizations, businesses, etc., in those regions to try and get the word out to get prospective students to come and chat with our cadets, with our administrators, with our crew, with our faculty to get a better understanding of who we are and what we do. Love to have you at any of those. I hope to see you there at some point. Please come say hi. Thanks, and kick 'em. Back to you, sir.
Yep, we look forward to taking that little bit of Aggie land to these other ports. And I'll say last summer in New York City in particular, they were so excited to see the Aggie flag flying in the middle of New York City coming through there. So please come join us. These are a lot of fun.
Yeah, Admiral, just one thing to add in there. If you're coming aboard, you sign up for a tour and you plan on coming aboard the ship, make sure you're wearing long trousers and closed-toed shoes, please.
Indeed.
Not a place for sandals. Yeah.
No. We're going to have a little bit of a roundtable with some of the questions that were asked that were not answered in any of our presentations. And looking at my list here, first question up is, can we bring fishing gear? Yes, of course. Fishing is allowed off the ship at designated times and locations. Fishing gear, however, must always be attended to. And those times and locations will be announced in the plan of the day. Is sunbathing allowed? Yes, it is allowed at sea, but just remember, this is a training mission, not a pleasure sea cruise. Please don't get burned. Use proper sunscreen. The TS Kennedy does have recreational facilities aboard, and all on board will be allowed to use them as necessary. Moving down my questions here. Do cadre for O-Week need to get off the ship early to return to campus? No, because O-Week will be held on the ship this year. Pretty neat. Hold on here. Next question about will we have internet on board? Yes, we should have limited internet connectivity available on board. We will have internet cafes set up, and we have a contractor arriving here shortly to install new internet connectivity here on the old TS Kennedy. So stay tuned for future information on that.
And Alan, just to set expectations. This is not for streaming movies and things like that. We don't have that bandwidth,
No.
but we've got enough to do email and text messages, etc. So.
Absolutely. Will there be cadets from other academies on board? Yes, there will be cadets from other academies on board. As referenced already, we will have our main cadets. We will have approximately 20 cadets, deck cadets from Cal Maritime, about 5 cadets from Massachusetts Maritime, and we are standing by with SUNY, depending upon if the ship Empire State 7 gets delayed in the shipyard. So we are standing by to assist them as needed with their seniors. Just a reminder that do not send mail and packages to the ports or to the Maritime Academy. We are not able to forward mail and packages to the ship. So please, if you bring it, hand deliver it or send it in an email or text message to your cadet.
Or a friend.
Or a friend, yep.
We just don't have the ability to handle that. And it's too often it doesn't, the connectivity, especially in these ports. I mean, the ability to get mail and stuff delivered is not good.
No.
We will have at the dock party, the Galveston County Aggie Moms will be hosting a sign shop for everybody to contribute to putting together a package that we can put on board in advance. So just keep that in mind.
All right, and for all of our deck cadets, you will be able to pick up sextants during the pre-cruise period, and that will be announced in the plan of the day. One of the other neat things that's going to happen this summer is the plan of the day is going electronic. We have digital signboards going up around the ship. So we're trying to save some trees here. So that'll be pretty interesting as well. All right, I believe I've reached the end of the questions here.
Okay. Well,
Colonel.
Yeah, we went I guess a little over time. Appreciate it, folks, hanging with us here. And once again, folks, thank you for joining us this evening. Thanks for being part of the team here. It's our honor to run this program and offer this training for your sons and daughters, and occasionally husbands and wives for some of the older students stuff. It's an exciting time. After many years, the sun is shining, and things are really looking up for Texas A&M Maritime Academy with the capabilities that we have. And we've come leaps and bounds from just a few years ago, not running our own sea terms, to now finally having a ship under our operational control. We value you as partners in this, and keep your questions coming. We're all glad to talk. Any time if you've got questions or concerns or something, just reach out. You can find us, and we'll be glad to help out. But it's an exciting time. The future is bright, and we're looking forward to a great summer. A little disappointed to have to shift out of Savannah. We dropped by there for fuel last summer and took a lot of heat from the Savannah Aggies for not coming ashore. But we're going to send them to rain their hate on the local terminal who just chased us off here in the last 24 hours. But anyway, join us, and we look forward to sharing as we're able this summer. We'll keep the updates coming out, the photos coming out, of course, with the connectivity, better connectivity from the cadets on board. You'll probably be getting the updates faster than we even know they happened from them, for better and worse. It's going to be a great summer. So we're signing off for now, and we'll see you at the dock party soon.
Sir.
Yes.
One final thing I wanted to bring up, because there were a couple of questions submitted related to commercial cruise. We, as an administration, want to address that directly, and I think it's going to take a lot more time than we have to address that in the depth that it needs to be addressed. So look for an invitation in the next couple of weeks with for us to provide you a little bit more information on how all of that works and the changes that we've made, the improvements that we've made, et cetera, so that we can get you informed on that front as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's an evolving process. And I know we're trying to finalize assignments for the students for that right now. And it's frustrating working with all the different companies. They've got their own requirements, application requirements, et cetera. And we're trying to do our best to get all those opportunities opened up. But we'll be glad to sit down and chat within the next couple of weeks. Anything else? Big team?
Thank y'all so much for your support and for showing up today. We appreciate it. We talk to many of you online on a regular basis, and it's really good to see you here and learning more. Appreciate it.
Thanks all. Good night.